Hey, sorry about that. My dishwasher is running in the background, but I have a few moments and I have a huge backlog of things I need to comment on, things I need to do videos on, and I still am running through all my tutorials for how to play version 3. So much to do, and I've got a list of like 30 names for people whose lists I need to go over. That's at least 15 videos, right? That's a month of work for me. So, lots of things to do. Today I'm going to comment on a lot of things, a lot of questions that came up during the last few videos. So like I've been looking over comments and I want to answer some of the questions where I think I have something to contribute. And I also want to go and talk about some of the recent discussions that's come up on the Facebook pages. Thanks to Felix for that one. So let's go. Here is the first one. The first one here is the first question. With assaults now being more difficult, is it still worth paying for Tough Fighter? Yeah, I think so. That means your unit is very unlikely to be charged, at least. So it's a defensive measure, and at the same time, yes, assaults are now much more difficult, and I have yet to figure out if I even can assault anymore. But it's absolutely true that Tough Fighter is now very, very, very good. And I know some people disagree with that. Tough Fighter no longer means that you can spill over and kill more people than your unit is, right? If you have 8 guys with Tough Fighter, you're not likely to kill more than 8. You can't. But what you can be is very sure that you are going to kill a lot of dudes, a lot more than you used to, right? Because you re-roll the misses. For me, playing veterans in version 2, assault veterans, that is an absolute bonus, because the only times I would lose assault units in version 2 was when my dice absolutely crapped out. I rolled all ones, right? I missed all of them. Now I get to re-roll those. That's a massive bonus. Not re-rolling the hits if you roll really low, that's a massive bonus. So for me, I think Tough Fighter is definitely worth the points. I'm just not sure that Assault is. So, yeah. Next question. Is this the end of barbecue lists? And this was in relation to my last Q&A video where I was talking about how bad flamers are now. And I think there is a possibility that the barbecue lists are gone for good. The engineer platoon is not the strongest of the platoon selectors right now. The flamers are more expensive. They get pins. They are less deadly with only 2+ penetration. They've been nerfed. Is it the total end? Are we not going to see anyone try barbecue list? Absolutely not. Someone is going to try. But are they still worth it? Are they still deadly? Maybe. Maybe. That's the best I think I can say. So maybe it's the end. Maybe they'll still be run. Not a good answer, I know. And then we had an email from Dario who writes, lately I'm playing US in version 3. I love the American Airstrike. I would love it to work, but the flag just keeps me up at night. My flag has to hold fire. Maybe I don't even bring any. And if I kill the enemy flag, it has brought me some, if he has brought some, mostly pin-mount MGs and autocannons. Is it worth all the hustle to shower the enemy with an airstrike? Yes, it's much more worth it now than it has been. Is it so good that you should pay 75 points for it compared to a forward artillery observer? Now that's a question. I think for Americans, because you get 2 strikes, yes. And I think we're going to see some American armies that leans into this and brings multiple air observers. That does mean that the counter will, of course, be pindle-mounted MMGs, but we're going to see a lot less of those, since they were usually on trucks, soft skins, and we're going to see less of those. So maybe at some point people will start pintle mounting their foot MGs, or bring more pintle mounted autocannons or something. But right now I think there's a golden opportunity for American players especially to find that one airplane, paint it up, and have it on a nice pedestal and have it come roaring in games, because it's much more worth it. It's pretty likely to kill something, which the artillery strike is not. It'll pin a lot of things, but pins are not really that important in version 3. So I think that there is something to be said for an airstrike, which is very likely to kill that one unit you want dead. But of course there are going to be hard counters. So yeah, that's just the game. And 75 points is pretty cheap. How would I write the rules for that? I think I would want them to be more or less exactly as they are. Maybe nerf the forward artillery observer a little bit, or I don't know. Make the forward artillery observer a little bit more expensive compared to the air observer-ish? I'm not sure. And then, this is not a question for me as such, but recently on the Facebook page, Felix Meinhardt posted this. With the rules as they are written on page 125, damage on artillery units, you can now place an artillery piece in the open with its crew entirely behind line of sight blocking terrain, so long as there's 1 inch to one part of the gun. And there's another discussion about that. And then fire over open sight as targets. Indirect, of course, only what the crew can see, or via spotters, but in return be immune to all incoming fire. Yes, Felix, that is right. That's how the rules are written right now. That should be fact. Warlord Games, if you're watching this channel, please, that should be fact. That should not be allowed. It was not allowed in version 2, although a lot of people were arguing that it was. This is why you need very clear rules. Very clear rules, because it's obviously not intended that you can have your gun and shoot at something like it's a remote control gun or something, right? You have to have some crewmen there to shoot and see what you're shooting at. But it's not how it's written in the rules. In the rules, you're just shooting over the breech, straight down the barrel, which means that you can shoot with the crew not being able to see. That should not happen. But it's how the rules are written right now. We need a FAQ for this ASAP. And if when I run tournaments, this is going to get FAQ'd immediately. Not gonna happen. So yeah, one of the things they needed to fix in version 3 and did not. I don't know who playtested this for them or who wrote this, but not the best of jobs. And you can actually see the same problem or a related problem in this image. Look at this artillery piece. Can you see how the crew is placed? This crew is now placed in accordance with the V3 rules for crew placement. By the way, thank you, Sam, for the image. This is absolutely legal. That gun is now out of cohesion in version 2, but in cohesion in version 3. In version 2, your crewmen also had to be 1 inch apart. But in version 3, you just have to be within 1 inch of the gun. And since the gun can't be hit with ordinary shots, then, I mean, in version 2, you could hit the gun with an exceptional damage on an HE penetration shot, right? But here, version 3, no. So this gun is now immune to the main artillery killer of version 2, which was counter battery fire. You took your mortar, your medium mortar, and you started shooting in, because it's fixed, it's not moving, right? So you started shooting, zeroing in on that gun until you hit it, and then you hit 2 or 3 guys, and the gun was out of commission. Right now, it can lose 1 guy to each hit. That's it, because your templates, unless you're firing a heavy mortar or a howitzer of some sort, you're not going to hit more than 1 dude. It's immune. it just sits there for at least 4 turns while it is being hit every single turn, because you gotta kill every single crewman. There are things in the rules as they're written now in version 3 that need a FAQ, and to be honest, I don't think that should have been necessary. These rules are brand new. All of this should have been fixed. Sorry about that. There's a lot of good things I like about version 3. Stuff like this just annoys me, because it means that players are going to have arguments out at tables, and it means that tournament organizers are going to have a comprehensive FAQ for their tournaments on how to deal with stuff like this. It really shouldn't be necessary. And I mean, honestly, even in a friendly game, would you want to have that argument with a friend? But you can't do that. But it's in the rules. I mean, let's just get clear rules that settles all that kinds of disputes. It would be a lot better, wouldn't it? Anywho, that was it for me today, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.